All right, we are live. I want to double check that this is all going to come up here on Twitch real quick first, so just bear with me 1 second for all of you guys that are probably watching the recording version of this. There we go. All right. Hi, how's it going, everybody? So nice to see you all. No one that's here yet. Few things before we actually get started. So welcome to the September 2020 horoscope. Cam White here, going into basically everything that's going to be happening in September. In this horoscope, we're going to be going over literally every single transit, at least all of the major ones, all of the main ones. And at the end of this, I'm going to try to keep this shorter than usual. The last two times, it's been about 2.5 hours, but I'm going to try to see if I can minimize it a little bit more this month. But at the end of this, by the time we finish September, then I'm going to be going into using examples. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask everyone who's still with us in the live to use their charts as an example for, like, example, if you're a Sagittarius rising and you want to know what's going on for September for you. Hopefully someone here in my live audience, if people end up coming, will be a Sag rising, and then we can kind of go from there and use their chart as example of what Sag risings will go through, so on and so forth. Another thing, you probably hear a lot of background noise at the moment. Sorry, that's because I got the air conditioning on today. I usually don't, but it's also, a giant heat wave, so there's really nothing I can do, otherwise I would basically be dead. Another thing too, usually I don't do this, and I want to give people kind of a second to get here before I actually get started. Ooh, that was a lot louder than I expected. So I'll do this over here. I got some tarot cards. I've been getting way more into my divination a lot more lately. It's been a lot of fun, and I wanted to pull a card just for this, reading type. Yeah, just for this reading. We roasting in this house. I'm very roasted in this house. It's fucking hot as shit. But yeah, we'll do pull a card for this, see how this is gonna go. I elected a chart for this too, so I think this election's pretty decent. So yeah, and this also kind of gives time for people to come get in here. Yeah, I'm glad I have an AC too. I bought one just in time. Ooh, whoa! This is the card I just pulled. This is gonna be fucking. Okay, this is gonna be, okay. You guys, I'm pulling this for this thing. This is gonna look bad, but we gotta see the good that's standing behind us. I need a little bit of clarity on this. Strength reversed. Okay, so, strength reversed. What the fuck does that mean? This is why I'm not a tarot reader. What does strength reversed mean? What would you say? I would say 5 of Cups within the strength reversed. I'd say, like, this is going to be a hard month. This is September, right? We've talked about this since long time ago. Many moons ago, we said September of 2020 is going to suck. We can't go into this thinking that it's going to be super great. And I think just with the strength reversed, this is kind of like an opportunity to kind of be that way. It might be kind of hard to, like, also have that strength. But yeah, I think personally, this is why I kind of also wanted to do this tarot card reading too, because this is going to be a pretty rough month. This is going to be a pretty hardcore month. I'm not going to lie. This is definitely, I think, the beginning of it. So anyway, let's get started into it. Now that we got some people here, thank you guys for joining me. I'm super excited. You guys are all here today. So this is the list that we're going to be looking at. It's going to be pulled up here the whole time, so don't feel like if I move past it, don't worry about it. But we do have to start on one thing at a time. So first things first, on September 1st, when we literally start September, we have the full moon in Pisces. We have Venus opposite Saturn and the sun making a trine to Uranus. So let me go ahead and pull this up here on the chart. Whoops, wrong button. I'm also going to be pushing the wrong button, like, probably a ton of times. So let me pull this up for now. This is for at this moment, and let's move forward to September 1st. So boom, we get into September 1st, and as you guys can see, we have the sun here making that trine to Uranus, Venus exactly opposite Saturn, and shit, what was the other thing? Oh yeah, the full moon in Pisces that's happening that night. So right off the bat, clearly we start September off with a bang. few things. We're gonna do the full moon in Pisces last. The first thing I kind of want to talk about is honestly the sun trining Uranus. I think this is really, even though this is not exact yet, just there's a lot of Earth energy going on at this moment. When we start September, there's the Sun in Virgo, there's everything Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto in Capricorn, Mercury's in Virgo, Uranus is in Taurus, and all of this Earth energy is really creating a lot of tangibility, creating a lot of what's the word I want to say? Hold on, I need to zoom this in a little bit. There we go. It's creating a lot of tangibility. Like everything is about actual, like a physical manifestation of something. And I think the sun trining Uranus kind of gives us this like exciting innovation, this exciting discovery. Like the sun's in Virgo. It's like, it's kind of like after you practice something so long, and after so long, like it just gets down in your brain. Or like, for example, like in music, when you practice a scale or a certain rudiment or something like that for a long period of time, you start to become really good at it. And that usually leads to, like, that type of perfection usually leads to some type of innovation. I feel like that's the sun in Virgo trining Uranus. It's like doing something so often and so consistently can usually lead to some type of breakthrough after a while. Which is really exciting, and I think that's going to be needed, especially because there's such a duality on this full moon, because there's Venus opposite Saturn, right? Which, with Venus in Cancer at this point, like we've already had this conversation like 4 different times, like with all this stuff in Cancer opposite Saturn, right? Venus in Cancer though is like is kind of like telling Saturn, like, but I really need, like, this is like Venus in Cancer turns a want into a need. And it's like, oh, I don't just want this, I need this. Like, you don't get it though, I have to have this. And so like Venus opposite Saturn is going to feel like you have to do something maybe that you're uncomfortable doing. And not in like a weird way, like Venus in Cancer is like, this is something I want, this is something I need, this is something that's going to take care of myself. And as it's opposite Saturn, like this could even be something regarding just where you've been trying to create more stability in your life, where you've been trying to create more seriousness, more discipline. Like Venus is kind of opposite that, going like, it's okay to not be serious, it's okay to be more sensitive, it's okay to not be strong, or it's okay to feel protected and feel secure. And I just feel like that opposition is just kind of like, it kind of makes you feel like you have to kind of harden up in one way, but it's also really asking you to be more receptive and more open. And the thing is, with this Venus opposite Saturn, right, there's this real serious look at, like, is this something I need, right? Is this want a need? Do I need to take care of this? Am I really valuing this more than I am, trying to take my life seriously with the Saturn and Capricorn stuff? But this full moon in Pisces, too, is also a time of, the word that's coming to mind is like revelation. So at the sun in Virgo, there's this specificity, there's this clarity, there's this, tangibility, but the sun in Virgo is also a time of just questioning. It's a Virgo season, right? It's mutability. So this is the season of changing. We're literally changing from summer to fall. And this full moon in Pisces, where the moon's now highlighted in Jupiter's house, it's basically like, well, as things change, what's next? What's possible? It reminds me of the full moon in Sagittarius that we have in Gemini season. It's like, we're getting excited for the summer. There's this whole new world that's possible out there. This full moon in Pisces is like kind of like getting us, helping us envision or become a little bit more idealistic about kind of what's next. But this full moon is also, it's Pisces, right? Like this is highlighting our beliefs. This is highlighting how we, feel about what we think about things. This is highlighting what we think is possible. Like, people don't understand, like, with like Pisces, like this is so much of like a dreaming sign. You know what I mean? Like, what can be possible? And the sun in Virgo is like, if the moon in Pisces, like this is all possible, the sun in Virgo has the, the energy to do the math, to calculate it, to do everything that you need to do basically in order to fulfill that moon in Pisces dream, that moon in Pisces vision. So there's this, and we're only on day 1 here on September 1st, but I just really wanted to hit on, like, we kind of start the month off with like this exciting, liberating realization and this dream, but there's also on the same part of it, on this contrast of Venus opposite Saturn, like this is really deciding if like this is a need or if this is a want, and really just kind of going like, hey, Venus in Cancer is like, it's okay. Like, you can say you need ice cream after like a really long hard, like if you've been good on your diet, like you need a cheat day type thing. Like you need some type of coming in, you know what I mean? And it kind of goes against the rules. That's the way I look at Venus opposite Cancer, or Venus opposite Saturn. So just be a little bit careful. Next thing, September 2nd, on the next day, we're going to be having Mercury trine Saturn. I feel like I don't have to explain that one too much. Mercury trining Saturn, like the one thing I want to just emphasize on again is all of this Earth energy. Yes, Mars is basically motionless at this point. Yes, as you guys can see, Venus is about to square Mars exactly. Venus has just got done opposite Saturn. We'll get into that. But with Mercury trining Saturn, and this is Mercury in Virgo trining Saturn in Capricorn, there's this connection. Not even connection. There's this clear and very serious, very reasonable, very rational, very realistic idea. And there's this plan of being able to apply it to your life, being able to do it. Like the best way I could explain this is also too, if you look on September 2nd, the moon's going to be conjoining Neptune. Whatever vision or dream that you have, like fucking apply it. Like do the thing. Like Mercury's in Virgo, trining Saturn in Capricorn. Whatever it is that you've got to do, apply it. Make it tangible. Make it real. This is the time to really go like, all right, this is something that I'm trying to create and actually make it more real. I'm trying to, like, Mercury in Virgo is having the right words, having the right mindset, knowing where to be at the right place at the right time, and it's trining Saturn. It's part of the plan. This wasn't something sporadic that you just came up with all of a sudden. This is shit you've been planning for a long time, and now it's just about executing it. And so I think on the second, when Mercury trines Saturn, this is great for handling paperwork, of getting any type of serious shit together. The only thing is, and this is something that we're going to talk about for the whole month, is Mars basically being motionless and stationing retrograde. That is going to be a pickle. And so with this isn't about forward movement, right? About like, move forward with X, Y, and Z. This is kind of like I feel like a good example of this would be like something that takes a lot of energy from you. Don't do that. This is kind of like if you own, like, for example, like for me, I struggle a lot with like making content and keeping up with everything. So one thing that I do to not feel like lazy, like when I can't record content, because that's something I've been going through a lot recently, as you guys could tell by the no content I've been putting out. But something I do to relieve that is like get back to my emails, get back to the menial stuff that really just takes a lot of time. But once I do a lot of it, makes me feel really productive. Like Mercury trining Saturn is like, get back to those emails, organize your file cabinet, get your paperwork together, and just like know what's there, know and get a handle and organize all of that shit. That's the best way I could really explain that, and also the most open way. Moving forward, oh man, I messed up on that again too. I meant to put the underline right there. Anyway, not November. Wow, I can't believe I almost just said November. September 3rd, we get into Venus squaring Mars. So, on a whole nother note, like I said, September's a big month. We've got a lot going on. We also have the Venus-Mars dance basically starting. So, Venus and Mars, they were just making their sextile not too long ago. Now they're going to make their square. They will eventually make their trine and then opposition by the end of this Mars retrograde. And every Mars retrograde, you're going to get this funky Venus and Mars relationship, right? Because as Venus is always within about 45 degrees away from the sun, right? So Venus is usually in that proximity. And as Mars is opposite the sun when it's retrograde, you usually always have Venus square Mars, Venus trine Mars, Venus opposite Mars, like basically in that order. And so when you have Venus and Mars making this, having this relationship, going back and forth between each other, for one, it's really spicy and it's really fun, especially in relationships. I don't know if you guys are into that. But with this initial Venus and Cancer squaring Mars and Aries, this is a little rough. Because Mars and Aries is trying to have fun. Mars and Aries, it's like a dog, like a big dog that wants to play, right? And it's like playing with these little kids, but then the big dog kind of hurts the little kid a little bit too much. It's like, oh yeah, dog, like you don't understand because you're a dog that like, you can't play that rough with like kids. Mars squaring, or Venus actually coming up to a square with Mars, and Mars also being in the superior position here is like, this is good for a few things. Separating or cutting out what you don't need, right? This is Venus in Cancer. So it's like we could sit here and go like, oh, this is what this want is actually a need. And Venus in Cancer is like, oh, there's this comfortability. There's this, Venus in Cancer is like one of the most comfortable placements in my opinion. Like, it's funny, like every single time I remember Venus being in Cancer, its transit, it was just always a time I was always just like sleeping more and just like more cuddly in my life and just more like relaxed. And I just feel like with Venus in Cancer squaring Mars in this perspective, mind you, on this day, the moon also enters Aries to kind of spice things up too. This is really about cutting out getting into some type of fight or having some type of conflict with those needs being met, or that, like good point, the affection being met. Like there's just, or wait, this is actually supposed to be over here. Sorry, I've got like stuff everywhere. I'm trying to organize this better. There we go. Now you can see the chat box. Anyway, yeah, like this is about wanting affection, needing that affection, but with Mars basically motionless squaring Venus, it's like Venus is like, I want this, but I don't know where to get it. I don't know where it's coming from, right? Like everything's kind of depending on Mars at the moment, and Mars is kind of just motionless chilling. So there's some type of frustration here. There's some type of something not working out. Mars is going to represent some type of fight or conflict, and Mars is also going to represent some type of separation or some cutting. And as Venus is opposite Saturn, this also might be like, to kind of piggyback off of what I really was saying last month of like, when we have to meet our needs, like that's not usually an easy road. So like, for example, like for all you addicts out there that have had to sober up and go through this, it's the same thing when, you don't live a certain lifestyle anymore and you can't hang out with all of the friends that you developed that lifestyle with. And so you have to kind of go like, hey, is this right for me? Is this what I needed? Like, and I think with Venus opposite Saturn squaring Mars, this is going to be a time where you go like, I really don't want this and I really don't need this anymore. And if that's one of the big things that you've been kind of teeter-tottering on for a while, like this is going to be a great time to make that decision and to cut away from stuff that's not needed, to cut away from the shit that you just don't need or even want anymore. But mind you, this is going to be like, I feel like the day where you kind of decide, but we're still building up to stuff. This is still build up time. Then we get into September 5th, 2 days later. That's when we're going to have Mercury enter Libra. Whoops, I got to stop pushing the wrong button. Mercury enters Libra. Not much to talk about here. Mercury in Virgo lasted 5 seconds, basically. It's weird because I just like Mercury right now is at like 3 degrees Virgo, and I was literally like the other day like, wow, Mercury's already Virgo, and now we're already here and Mercury's already past Virgo by September 5th. So this is literally like Mercury goes through Virgo for like 3 days basically, or 3 weeks, which is nothing. Mercury goes into Libra and things turn from being more or less like exact and specific. And oh my god, on Twitter, I guarantee, like I literally just saw like 3 people delete their tweets and like redo their tweets to be grammatically correct with no spelling errors. Like Mercury in Virgo is just like things have to be exact, right? Things have to be specific. Things have to meet a certain standard. With Mercury in Libra, it's not that those things don't have to meet a standard, but there's leniency. Mercury in Virgo is like you have to have 10 years of experience doing this job, but this job hasn't been around for 10 years of experience. It's like, what? That doesn't make any sense. And that's also like really specific. Mercury in Libra is more of like, how do we, go back and forth with things? How do we mediate? How do we balance out? How do we connect a bridge? How do we actually make a connection with our communication, right? This is really about like bringing things together. And Mercury's the messenger here. So this is really like Mercury in Libra is an easier time to extend a hand, to say something. Eventually, Mercury is going to be retrograding in Scorpio, which we'll be talking actually about a little bit here. But Mercury will eventually retrograde in Scorpio, and it will actually go direct in late Libra. So I don't want to say this is the beginning of it, but also Mercury's going to go opposite Mars. Mercury's got a lot of stuff going on in Libra and Scorpio. But this first like week or two of Mercury in Libra is very chill. It's very easygoing. This is also mentally, like when you get Mercury in an air sign, like it's just like you can feel the wind go through one ear and out the other. Like there's no clutter or noise. Like it's just nice a nice peaceful day when Mercury's in an air sign. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Next thing, the next fucking day, check this out. The next day, Venus goes into Leo. The only thing I can say about that is, yes, I am so fucking pumped for Venus and Leo. Mind you, Mercury is also in Libra's, in Venus's sign, making the sextile to Venus. So there's like this, things just like really open up here. And this is, so I actually have something to say. In my year ahead horoscope that I did long time ago, I talked about how Leo season was like a small vacation and it was like a small break. And I swear to God, has it not been like that? Like, with the sun and like Mercury and Leo in aversion, so basically in the 8th from all of this Capricorn stuff, not seeing this Capricorn stuff, it's been like a small break. It's been like, we're on a little tiny vacation. And with Venus going into Leo, I mean, at this point, Mercury's in Libra, so Mercury's now in the cardinal, blender. The sun is in Virgo, where things, are still very tangible. The sun's starting to trine. If I pull up the chart, the sun's starting to trine Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn. It's trining Uranus. Like, there's a lot of tangibility, a lot of, comfortableness here. But as Venus goes into Leo, this is like, we can have fun without the consequences or the repercussions. Like, we can just have fun. Venus and Leo, like, the thing is with Venus and Leo is Venus is about connection. Venus is about, like, love, romance. Venus is about, like, sparkly, googly eyes over stuff. Venus is like, I love this shit. Venus is like, I want to indulge in this stuff. And Venus in Leo is like that heart, that passion, that love, that, intimacy, that good, that feel good shit. That's what Venus and Leo is really about. And you're also going to get the side of Venus and Leo that's also like, oh my gosh, like, I need more attention right now. I need more validation. Like, with Venus and Leo, we need to be seen. Like, we need to be, like, sometimes, it's so funny. Like, Venus and Leo, sometimes you just need you need a stranger to hit on you. Sometimes you need a stranger to tell you that you look good. Sometimes you need, that attention, right? And and I don't want to say this is the time to get it, but with Venus and Leo, this is like the time where this becomes a more prevalent theme. Put yourself in the spotlight. Get excited. Like, don't be afraid to also shine your light, right? Like, Venus and Leo, like, there's more want for that attention. Like, the sun in Leo, it's like the attention's kind of happening. Things are kind of just, you're feeling more comfortable. With Venus, there's this want, right? Venus and Leo is going to be fun. It's going to trine Mars too, which is okay, I can't even, like, to backtrack a little bit. The Venus-Mars trine I was talking about is, so the Venus-Mars trine and the Venus-Mars opposition for this Mars retrograde is fucking sexy. Like, I'm telling you right now, from basically when Venus trines Mars, that's not for a while. It actually is at the end of this month, which we'll be talking about in this. But from that Venus-Mars trine to the Venus-Mars opposition, it's just like, it's hot, it's heavy, it's sexy, it's passionate, it's lustful. Oh man, it's so good. It's just like, it's gonna be so good. So anyway, I think that's gonna be funny, and I just think the Venus and Leo part of it, because also when you look at this too, all of this cardinal energy squaring each other, there's a lot of tension. And Venus and Leo, it's like, this is like, also I would look at this transit, it's like you're having a really tense, rough day at work, and so then, like, to release, you go out and fucking party, like, like it's 1999. Like, that's the way I would look at this type of Venus and Leo shit. Anyway, to move forward, I need a drink of water. Moving forward, Mars is the next thing, and I'm glad I took a drink of water. Actually, I need another drink of water before we start talking about Mars. So on September 9th, Mars stations retrograde, and the sun trines Jupiter. So, we go to September 7th, September 8th, September 9th. Let's actually get to the exact hour. Let's pull up the hour. Oh, right there. Basically between 3 and 4 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon here in Los Angeles or on the Pacific Coast. Mars is going to station retrograde. And Mars will be retrograde from September 9th until about November 11th or like November 14th or something like that. So for 3 months, and this Mars retrograde, I know we've been talking about a lot of fun stuff, but this Mars retrograde, like, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the news, but literally, like, the other day, we just hit 130 degrees, the highest temperature ever recorded. Then we also had a first fire tornado warning, and now there's 2 hurricanes happening at the same fucking time. I think for one, there's going to be some weather events, but to take it back a little bit, this Mars retrograde, like, just to be serious right now, hold on, serious camera angle. This Mars retrograde is absolutely fucked. This is basically as rough and as worse. This is the worst astrology for the next 3 months. Like, it's brutal, it's hardcore. We've already been living in hardcore times. So this, I mean, if this is a surprise to you, I'm, sorry. But the thing is, this isn't, and this is the thing, it's funny that we pulled up the 5 of Cups for this reading, was that, with this Mars retrograde, there's this, stopping motion, right? Mars, what I've been trying to tell people with this Mars retrograde is, like, Mars is, like, basically, it's like your foot's on the pedal, but you're still in park. It's like, you've got your tires spinning out. You're hitting this wall. And Mars is hitting the wall that is Saturn and Capricorn, right? Let me pull up the chart again. Mars here, Saturn's in the superior position, and Mars is, like, trying to move forward. Mars is trying to break through this wall, but Mars ain't got the power to. Don't get me wrong, this wall's coming down. Look at this wall's coming down, but Mars doesn't have the power to do that at the moment. And so what this really, really looks like is, also this is something I talk about all the time. When it comes down to things like the nodes, Mars retrogrades, Venus retrogrades, backtrack. What happened the last Mars retrograde? And I'm pretty sure we talked a lot about this in my last live. What happened the last Mars retrograde? Summer of 2018. What was going down for you? That one was a rough Mars retrograde too. There was a lot of releasing. There was a lot of changing. We go to the spring of 2016. That was a rough Mars retrograde. We go to the spring, late winter, early spring of 2014. These Mars retrogrades, what happened? And the common theme that you're going to see come up is you were planning on doing something, you were putting more energy, putting more action in something, and then something else happened, and you kind of had to switch gears for a little bit, and you also had to do something different. This is the same thing, and this Mars retrograde is a little bit different because it's squaring Saturn. So with this Mars retrograde, the reason that you are going backwards, the reason why you're changing your direction, what you're doing, is literally because you are being stopped by something. You are being stopped by outside forces. Like, that is, like, look at this Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto stuff. This literally represents, like, the way I'd almost look at this is like, you might be trying to do something, but I don't want to say like there's like going to be another lockdown or something, but this would be like something that is out of your control, some type of system, some type of, even like a government force, like, is stopping you from doing something that you're trying to move forward on. Mars and Aries right now, also, if you look at the times, everyone at this moment is so like, it's like the world is just living in this fantasy right now, or at least I don't even say the world, that's so American centric. America is living in this fantasy right now that things like the economy and the stock market are just so separated at the moment. It's insane, and just something I've been seeing Mars and Aries. It's like Mars and Aries, we all have the energy to go and do stuff. Mars and Aries, we all have this, like, we want to do something, right? But we don't know what the fuck to do at the moment. There's no good outlets for it. And this Mars retrograde might be like finding a different outlet for that, something that you weren't really expecting at the moment. And this is Mars squaring Saturn. This is like, there's some type of wall that you're hitting that you've got to go back. There's an analogy I made, I believe it was last week on my weekly horoscope. This is going to be like the little engine that could. And this Mars stationing retrograde is the moment that we first go up this hill and realize, oh shit, I can't make it up this hill. And so you're going to want to glide yourself back and just slowly move backwards. And then once Mars stations direct and moves forward again, that will be when we make it over the hill. Finally. But this is the moment where we've been trying to go up a hill and we're going to realize we don't have enough power to make it up this hill. So one of the things I think is going to be something to look at is like, don't rush right now. Something that So I just had a friend of mine recently get me into, you guys probably know them too. Tarot by Bronx. I think that's it. A tarot reader on YouTube. So I started watching their videos, and the Leo horoscope was so on point, and it was just something that I've also was trying to tell people like more about too, is like this Leo season was like a vacation, right? Chill, relax. With this with Mars retrograde's gonna happen. It's coming up. Like there's no need to get in. So it's like if you're planning on going on a trip, right? And it's you and someone else. They spent the night. You get up. You're all early. You get everything ready in the car. There's no need for you to get in the car and start the car if the person you're going with is still asleep. You got to wake them up. They've also got to be involved too. So like, don't put yourself in a position that you're just going to get out of, or put yourself in a position where you're not going to be able to do anything. So just wait. Just have some patience. I can't explain this enough. Patience. Be patient over the next few months. It's going to be so important. But anyway, I've been kind of riffing on this. Mars stationing retrograde. This will be the day where you go, it's time to change. It's time to do something different. I personally think Mars retrogrades they're good in my opinion, because everyone usually is so fed up with Mars not moving forward that Mars just moving in any direction, right? There's a saying that goes, I would rather have someone be going 1,000,000 miles an hour in the wrong direction than not moving anywhere at all. Because if they're going 1,000,000 miles an hour in the wrong direction, all they have to do is turn around, and then they're going 1,000,000 miles an hour in the right direction. Mars, when it's motionless and it's not doing anything, it's like, what's gonna happen next? Oh, like it's annoying. Versus Mars retrograde, it's like, at least we know now. At least something's moving. It may be moving backwards, but at least it's moving now. Anyway, also Jupiter trines the sun. I should have opened with Jupiter trining the sun. Where is this at? There we go. Hold on, I keep pushing the wrong buttons. Jupiter also trines the sun here. So what's important about the Jupiter sun trine is Jupiter actually rules the trine. Like that's its aspect. And when Jupiter trines the sun, that always represents Jupiter basically about to station direct or station retrograde. Jupiter is retrograde right now. So, and also if you looked at here, Jupiter is going to station direct on the 12th. So we're pretty close to it. But as the sun trines Jupiter, this is that sun in Virgo, right? We're doing the math, we're crunching the numbers, and it's all starting to make sense, right? We're doing tangible work and we're changing. Like our essence is literally changing in Virgo season. As it trines Jupiter and Capricorn's like, here's the fruit of your labor. Like here's the rewards of all of your hard work. This is how things can move forward. And this Mars retrograde is like, I'm being super honest, it's a fucked up Mars retrograde. But this sun trine Jupiter, though, I think really opens up the door for an opportunity for whatever. What has Jupiter in Capricorn been like for you? It's, I can't believe we've almost been a year into Jupiter in Capricorn. And like, what did we learn? What do we have? What did we discover? Jupiter, like, what did we believe? What did we, what was our faith installed into? And as Jupiter stations direct, especially at this trine to the sun, there's this, realization. There's this like, oh, this is what I know I have. This is, being able to do the math, do the numbers, and say, like, I have what it takes to accomplish this goal. I have what it takes to, or this is kind of like also just counting your acorns and realizing you have what you need. But I just think this Jupiter, the sunshine Jupiter, is positive at the end of the day. That's all you guys really need to know. Moving forward, on September 11th, 9/11, never forget. Anyway, Sun's opposite Neptune. And I didn't mean that sarcastically, just 9/11's an inside job. So anyway, let's move over to September 11th. We have the sun opposite Neptune. This is going to be a day for crazy people. If you're just out and about, I guarantee everyone's just going to be acting absolutely insane this day. No one's going to know what to do. The moon's going to be squaring Mercury, right? So everyone's like, sun opposite Neptune. It's going to be really easy to get lost in the sauce on September 11th. Sun in Virgo opposite Neptune is like when you make the calculation, but that something still isn't right. Like, you get the right answer by doing the wrong equation. And you're just like, something's fishy about this. Something's not adding up. And I think that's going to be a really important, realization, because especially as the sun opposite Neptune, this is just going to have you questioning stuff and asking things and wondering things, which I don't want to say is never good, but when your brain gets into that mode, you start questioning everything. You start, appearing beyond the veil, essentially. And so I think with the sun opposite Neptune, just try to be rational. Just, if you don't have to understand how the plane flies in the sky in order to fly in the plane. Does that make sense? Like, I guarantee you, there's out of 36 of you, there's probably 1 or 2 of you guys that know how jet propulsion works. But I know at least 35 or 34 of you have been on a plane before. You don't have to know how it works to fly on it and to reap the rewards of it. And with the sun opposite Neptune, like, you can still enjoy the thing without really knowing how it works. It's okay to do that. Same thing with like watching a movie. You don't have to know how the movie magic works in order to enjoy the movie. And I just think that's the way to really look at the sun opposite Neptune. As we move forward, September 12th, Jupiter stations direct. We talked about that. And I mean, just to kind of hit on it again, apparently, what time does it go direct? Because it's still retrograde. Right there. So what's cool is actually, oh no, the sun won't set yet. So Jupiter will basically station direct the evening of September 12th. Jupiter stationing direct. It's time for things to move forward, right? So this is how Jupiter retrogrades work. Check this. Jupiter enters a sign. It goes into this sign. It's like if you guys watch I Love Lucy, like Jupiter is basically Ricky Ricardo when he gets home, and it just like blows through the door and is like, Lucy, I'm home, and like it's Jupiter just goes through its house, and Jupiter's like, what's this? And Jupiter's like, what's that? And Jupiter's like, what's going on over here? And then Jupiter stations retrograde and becomes very philosophic and starts to go, okay, now that I'm in this space, what does it mean to be in this space? What does this space even mean? It starts becoming very Jupiter, right? It's not about moving forward. It's about reflecting. It's about doing the inner work. When Jupiter stations direct, and also Jupiter rules the trine, there's this harmonious connection, right? There's this good luck. There's this expansion. There's this fortune with Jupiter. And as Jupiter stations direct, it's like, finally, and this doesn't necessarily mean coming to the answers that you need to, but like Jupiter station direct is like, things make fucking sense now, and that you can actually start to apply some of the philosophy that you learned. You can actually start to apply some of the the lessons that you've learned during Jupiter's retrograde cycle. And Jupiter retrograde in Capricorn was basically like, we only have so much. What can we do with what we have? Something I talked a lot about with Jupiter in Capricorn was less is more. And I think as Jupiter stations direct, this is kind of realizing the opportunity. It's like, it's the same idea. If it's rather than owning a bunch of stuff, right? Like, let's say you owned a ton of stuff and you wanted to move one day. Well, moving's really hard if you have a ton of shit versus if you're like a minimalist, you don't have a lot. Like, you can move like that. And that's where the opportunity comes in. And I feel like with Jupiter, just with where it's at, on September 12th is really where you're going to see that day come where you go, all right, like, this is what makes sense. This is where we're moving forward. This is what I've made room for, and this is what I can have. Anyway, how are you guys doing? Wow, hold on. I just got to mention we're halfway through this, and we're only 40 minutes into it. I am doing really good on time. You guys should all be really proud of me because we would usually be like at an hour already by now. Let's go back. Also, thank you guys for joining me. I can't believe there's like 40 of you guys here. Anyway, what's next? Oh yeah, September 15th, Venus squares Uranus. Or Uranus, since apparently that's a thing now that we all have to talk about. Let's move this forward to what day? September 15th? Evolving, LOL. Venus squaring Uranus. Really, what do you want to know? With Venus squaring Uranus, So there is unexpected volatility with relationships, with love and romance and things like that. That's just kind of how it goes. But with Venus and Leo squaring Uranus is like, you haven't been getting the attention that you've wanted, so you do something different, like maybe you've never downloaded a dating app before, and so you download a dating app. And then you realize it's actually not fun at all, and it's the worst part of dating in the 21st century. Like, Venus squaring Uranus is like you going out of your way to do something like Venus and Leo, like, I need attention, I need validation, I need to be seen. And Venus squaring Uranus is like, it doesn't work the first try. Uranus, I'm not going to lie to you guys, in my opinion, this is just my opinion. I'm only basing this off of me being judgmental. Uranus and Taurus sucks. Like, I have literally yet to have anytime something has happened with Uranus, it has been such a letdown. It's not as good. It's like 4 out of 10. Like, it could be so much better. And I just feel like with Venus squaring Uranus, there's this, there's something that you've got to break through. There's something that, is volatile, but also it's, there's this electric and eccentric energy in the air that Venus and Leo might be tempted. It's like, this is kind of like, if you're walking by a window and you see something really shiny in the window, you go in the store and you accidentally touch it and then it breaks and you have to buy it. That's Venus squaring Uranus. Don't touch the shiny stuff that you can't afford to fix if you break it. So don't touch, just admire it from a distance. Admire the nice things from a distance. That's a good way to put it. There we go. So this is when things start to actually get a little bit crazy, because now we're actually getting towards the end of the month here. And with the end of the month, if you guys look, we'll have the new moon in Virgo, which is trining Saturn. And it's also the same day as Mercury squaring Jupiter. Mercury then will square Pluto. Then the sun goes into Libra with Mercury squaring Saturn. Mercury then goes opposite Mars, and then Mercury enters Scorpio, where it will eventually retrograde. And at this point, Mercury is in its shadow, and then Mars will square Saturn. Venus trines Mars. The end of the month is where it starts getting really difficult, and that's simply because Mercury's fine basically this whole month until we get to this new moon in Virgo. This is where, things don't necessarily work the way you want it to. So, what were we talking about? New moon Virgo on the 16th? All right. New moon in Virgo. Sorry, I'm laughing. This new moon in Virgo just sounds absolutely ridiculous. Mind you, Mars is retrograde. It has moved 1 degree. It is still squaring Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto. So this is kind of like having to, the new moon in Virgo is like, now that you've done the first draft, the new moon in Virgo is like going over at your edits and being like, all right, now we're ready. Now we think we're ready to make the second draft. Now we think we're ready to do it again. Or at least now we understand what we have to plan for this time. This is the editing work, right? With Mars is moving forward in Aries. Before it was retrograde, we were making all these plans. Mars stations retrograde and moves back. This new moon in Virgo is like, okay, now this is the new moon in Virgo is when we'll start to really understand what Plan B actually is, what the second draft actually looks like. And this is also where the new game plan is. I think September 16th, and exactly a week after Mars station. So this will be like a full week after is when you'll be like, okay, now I know where to get comfortable. And the thing is too, is the other thing you have to realize about this too is that this is, again, Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter in the superior position here. They're making all of the rules. Mars in Aries is like the guy who won't wear the mask on the airplane won't do something, and it's just like, dude, this isn't your plane. Like, the plane people will just be like, okay, we just won't fucking fly, or we'll just kick you off. Like, we don't give a shit. Like, that's Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto. It's like Mars and Aries, you can't be a Karen and think that you can just do whatever you want. Like Saturn and Jupiter and Pluto have all the authority in this situation. And this new moon, which is trining Saturn almost exactly, really gives us an opportunity to make peace. I don't want to even say make peace, but a trine is harmonious, right? There's some type of collaboration. There's some type of rewarding effort. Saturn here in Capricorn with Jupiter now direct and Pluto, like there's all of this big change that we're wanting to make. There's all of this big opportunity that we're trying to seize the day with. This new moon in Virgo is like, this is how we do it. It's not about being Mars and Aries. Mars and Aries is about, like maybe we should stop for a minute before we keep building. This is about measuring twice to only cut once. This is kind of like right when Mars stationed retrograde, it was like we were about to make that cut, and then we realized, you know what, we should probably measure it again just to be safe. And this new moon in Virgo is that next measurement, and this is probably when we'll also realize, okay, I actually did kind of mess up, and things need to be a little bit different. So, the other thing that's going on, whoops, wrong button again. Nope. Was that it? Oh no, Mercury squares Jupiter. That's right. I was like, there was something else going on. Mercury squaring Jupiter. Mercury squaring Jupiter. I think Mercury squaring Jupiter is going to be frustrating because I just think this is where the frustrating energy starts. Because Mercury in Libra, again, is trying to mediate. It's just trying to get things balanced out. Mercury is just the messenger, right? And Mercury in Libra is just like, hey, I've got to tell you this from this other source. And Jupiter in Capricorn's like, if you're going to deliver this message to this person, can you drop this off on your way? And Mercury might be taking on too much at once, and it can't fulfill all of its promises. Mercury squaring Jupiter would also be like, our ideas or our thoughts are in conflict with our beliefs or what we have faith in. Maybe like with Jupiter and Capricorn, since we've been needing to believe and be more, just needing to be more conservative, like not so expansive. Less Jupiter and Sag, where it's like, and it's such a good contrast to like last year in 2019. When you think about it in retrospect, we had the whole world in front of us in 2019. Anything was possible in the future. Now, here in the Lord's year of 2020, there's only so many options to be had. And the future is looking quite bleak. That's Jupiter in Capricorn, right? Mercury in Libra making a square to that is like, you can't always have a win-win situation. You can't always have enough for everybody. There's not everything works all the time. And these are cardinal signs. This is Libra and Capricorn. These are systems. These are plans. These are modes of operating. Like that shit it doesn't mean that it's necessarily problematic, but I think with Jupiter squaring Mercury squaring Jupiter, it's like the plan that we originally had, the Mercury and Libra plan that makes sure everybody's happy and that everybody wins. It's not going to work. We got to be more specific and targeted than that. And I think that's going to be something that comes up, especially here with the election and everything. But anyway, moving forward. Then 4 days later, nothing really too much happens in 4 days, but then Mercury squares Pluto, which Mercury squaring Pluto, the moon will make that conjunction to Mercury, and then on the 20th here, Mercury squares Pluto. This is kind of like when you do something wrong, but the repercussions of it really won't come up later, so you kind of just like go, oops, like that's not going to be good later on. Like when you hit a really big pothole driving, you're just kind of like, whoops, that's going to be bad later on. But whatever, nothing you could do about it now. That's kind of like Mercury squaring Pluto. Mercury being about our thoughts, communication. There's Pluto is kind of like, have you guys seen Ice Age? I hope you guys have seen Ice Age. It's a great movie. But there's a scene in Ice Age where the squirrel like accidentally cracks the ice. It's like the most famous scene in that movie. But when the squirrel cracks the ice, the first part where the ice starts cracking and the squirrel goes like, oh shit, like this is definitely bad. That's Mercury squaring Pluto. I think this is more in the sense of not necessarily something specific happening, but more of like, that something's going to happen and it's going to feel very scary. It's going to feel very intimidating. You're going to feel kind of terrified, but nothing exactly is going to come up yet. That is not until we get to basically September 22nd and the rest of the month. But then we get to September 22nd. Wow, it's less than an hour. I've been flying through this. I can't believe that. Then we get to September 22nd. Sun moves into Libra. And shit. Oh my god, what was the other thing? Wrong button. Oh, and Mercury squares Saturn. That's right. So, Sun enters Libra. The one thing to remember with the Sun entering Libra now that this is the fall equinox, night starts getting longer, days start getting shorter. The Sun is now in its fall. The Sun in Libra requires, like, it takes two people to be one person with the Sun in Libra. Like, when the Sun's in Leo, it's like you can be yourself and you're confident and you're feeling good. The Sun in Libra is like, you're kind of okay by yourself, but when you're with like your best friend, it's like, okay, now you're feeling normal, now you're feeling good. But by yourself, you're kind of just like, like I don't feel like shining. I don't feel like being a bright, happy star. I don't feel like being the sun, essentially. But then also Mercury squares Saturn that night, and this is where, so Mercury squaring Jupiter. Not everyone can be a winner. Mercury squaring Pluto, it's like, ooh, this isn't going to be a good conversation. And then Mercury squaring Saturn is like having to address the conflict, having to address the wall, having to address the issue or the barrier, having to be like, so if you've been watching my videos, you know how much I've been using this example of that fucking building in Vegas, that hotel that is basically vacant, like on the middle of the strip. It's the tallest it's like the tallest casino hotel in Vegas. And it's completely empty. There's no one in it. They stopped construction because the foundation for the building was 4 inches. It needs 4 more inches of foundation to be structurally sound, and right now it's not structurally sound. I think a lot about this building because I just can't imagine spending billions of dollars just to have a building that has a shitty foundation. But Mercury squaring Saturn is like, imagine being the guy who had to do the math or who had to realize that there was a problem and had to tell your boss or what are those people called, your boss or whatever, having to tell them that, like, hey, this hotel, we built the foundation wrong and now it's basically worthless. Like, that's a really hard conversation to have, and there's really no good way, there's no fluffing it up. Mercury in Libra is like, squaring Saturn, like, you're going to try to say it nicely, but it's not going to be received nicely. And it's you're going to try to be really soft and caring about it, but it's not going to receive nicely. To kind of backtrack here with everything that we've got going on at this moment, what the energy really turns into is going from, like, starting from Venus in Cancer squaring Mars, it's like, I think I really need to do this to myself. Like, everything leans more and more as September goes on to just ripping off the Band-Aid as soon as you can and as fast as you can. Like, in the beginning, we're going to feel like we need to beat around the bush, but as time moves forward, there's less beating around the bush and just realizing that the more direct and the more, confrontational we are, the better. The faster we can rip the Band-Aid off, the better. Like, I think of it this way. Here's an early analogy for you. This is something I think about all the time. Go back to, like, the Civil War, when, like, they really had no idea what they were doing with, like, surgery and anesthesia and stuff like that. And imagine having to lose a limb and, like, having to be amputated without being under. Like, that's straight up nightmare shit. And so, would you rather have that happen fast, or, like, really, would you rather have the surgeon be like, oh, I don't want to cut your arm off, like, this is really uncomfortable, so, like, and then every time he cuts and you scream, he's like, oh, sorry, and it just takes longer. You don't want that. You want the doctor to, basically tunnel vision and cut through your arm as fast as possible so you can just get it over with. That's what this month really looks like. Like, it's going to be, we're going to think that beating around the bush is a better idea, but as we go through it, we're like, fuck, we just, there's no other way to do it. There's no other way to do it but to be blunt. While you're surrounded by mysterious limbs. Yeah. And the thing is with all this Libra stuff too, we're going to still be trying to make it nicer. You know what I mean? Trying to make it easier. Take an axe. That's a good idea. That's actually a better idea. Yeah, just be more direct about it. Try to be more peaceful about it too. It's Mercury and Libra. Just being direct doesn't mean being mean. That doesn't mean hurting other people's feelings, essentially. But that also doesn't mean, like with Mercury and Libra, like you still have to get your point across. You still need to tell people what's up. Like it can't always be about everyone else, Mercury and Libra. Then we get to the next day, Mercury goes opposite Mars. Mercury opposite Mars, man. And this is also too the breakdown of what's basically about to go down. Whoops, wrong button again. Yeah, because Saturn isn't stationing direct yet. Let me double check here since we're at like the end. Oh, that is there. I'm surprised I didn't put that in my thing. So anyway, starting from September 23rd, when Mercury goes opposite Mars, there's a few things that happen that we're going to be talking about. Mercury will opposite Mars. Mars will then square Saturn. Venus is basically going to trine Mars at the same time. And then Saturn will station direct. Like, there's such a weird thing that kind of goes down in the last couple of days of September. It's really, really weird. First thing, though, is that Mercury-Mars opposition. Jesus. No, not 3 charts. Mercury-Mars opposition. This is having that conversation. This is Mercury squaring Saturn is kind of like you did the math and you're like, oh, fuck. Like, this is going to be a bad conversation. And Mercury opposite Mars is like, you also have to think Mars in Aries is retrograde at this point. Mars in Aries is just an angry person who doesn't know what to do because they're angry. Mercury in Libra is like the reverse psychology. Like, you know, it's the same thing with like a kid. You don't get a kid to eat their vegetables by being like, eat your fucking vegetables, asshole. Like they're not gonna do that. But if you're like, man, this shit's so good, broccoli, it's, you tempt them into it, and they'll do it, right? Mercury and Libra opposite Mars is like, if you really want to change that course of action, you can't just like yell at yourself. You can't just like yell to get through stuff. Like, you have to caress yourself into something. Like Mercury and Libra, like, don't be afraid to talk yourself into change. Don't be afraid to talk. Like, just because it's a hard conversation doesn't mean it has to be said with like harsh words or in a harsh manner. Mercury and Libra opposite Mars too is very much like there's a separation from our ideas. Mercury and Libra is on this balancing beam of like, should I do it like this? Should I do it like that? What side am I on here? And as Mercury first squares Saturn and then it's opposite Mars, it's like, all right, it's choosing a side. It's basically being like, this is what I'm leaning more towards. This is what I'm deciding is going to be better for me. This is the way that I've got to go. And this isn't an easy decision. This is not an easy decision. Like, I feel like I've been talking about September way too positively. Like, let me emphasize in case I haven't enough, September is going to suck. This is going to be a rough month, and it's going to require to make us a lot of decisions that we've been avoiding for a long time, including me. I don't want to make any of these decisions. I don't want to do any of this shit, and I hate talking about this because I'm like, can't we just wake me up when September ends? Mean what you say, but don't say it mean. Yes, I actually talked about that a while ago. So just, on the 23rd with Mercury opposite Mars, you're going to get into arguments. There's going to be fights. There's going to be disagreements. There's going to be, and there's also, I can't emphasize this enough. Almost everything in the astrology is like saying no. Not necessarily no completely, just no right now. And I'm meaning no to moving forward. It's saying yes to rearranging stuff, right? Like, think of the little engine that could. The gravity was not saying yes to going up the hill. It's saying yes to going down the hill, and it will say yes to going up the hill eventually, but you have to have the momentum for it. Anyway, then we get to September 26th. Well, actually, hold on, because I put September 26th, Mercury enters Scorpio. And then on September 28th, I talk about Mars squaring Saturn and Venus trine Mars, but there was a few things that I missed here that I clearly didn't put. So let me go over this with you guys real quick. So September 24th, nothing happens except the moon will go. The moon's going to go into Capricorn and, of course, slap everything. Then the moon will conjoin Saturn. Then we get to the 26th. What was happening on the 26th? Jesus. The 26th, Mercury enters Scorpio. So, with Mercury enter Scorpio, it doesn't have to enter Scorpio. So Mercury, and at this point too, mind you, Mercury's in its shadow, but we're going to talk way more about that in the October horoscope. But Mercury's in its shadow at this point, so there's stuff that we're still going to be going over. Mercury goes into Scorpio, where the conversation is less beat around the bush, and this is when we just fully accept, like, being clear and direct. And Mercury in Scorpio is like not afraid to address the elephant in the room, or to really like push someone's buttons, to really just go for the fucking jugular. Like that's what I love about Mercury in Scorpio. It's just like right there, like just fucking go for it. Hey, thanks for the donation. I super appreciate that. With Mercury going from Libra to Scorpio, it's going like, I don't really know. I'm not really sure. I really don't want any problems, to like you get pushed enough to make a change. And Mercury going to Scorpio is like when your buttons get pushed just enough to where you're like, fuck this shit, and you go ape shit on someone and you go straight for the jugular. Mercury in Scorpio is like a passion, intensity, emotion, meaning, and purpose with your communication. And so that can be a little intense. It can be really good when you're tired of beating around the bush and not being clear. But it can also be bad when you need to be more sensitive in your communication, because Mercury in Scorpio, it's kind of like, it reminds me of that game. What's that game? Operation? The kid game where you take the shit out of the guy, but if you barely touch the side, it's like, that game gave me so much anxiety when I played as a kid, and it's probably the source of my anxiety as an adult. That's kind of like Mercury and Scorpio. Like, you have to be exact with where you're putting yourself in, with what your words say. Otherwise, you're going to hit that buzzer and shit's going to go crazy and you're just going to freak out. Try not to do that. But then as we move forward, that's basically Mercury and Scorpio. And again, that's something we'll be talking about way later. This is where it gets crazy. September 28th. This is where we have, so check this out. This is the sequence of events. The other day I was literally like going through the sequence of events, and I don't want to say I couldn't understand it. The sequence of events was just like wild. First thing, there should be a donation button on my page, on my Twitch. I have the donation button, but I don't actually know how to do it from your side. I've never done it from that side. But anyway, how this works is Venus, as you guys can see here, like literally at 6:07 p.m., Venus will trine Mars, right? So to go back to what we talked about a long time ago, an hour ago, Venus is in Leo, where we're looking for this attention, we're looking for this love, we're looking for this passion. Like, one of my favorite things with Venus and Leo, I always relate Venus and Leo to Whitney Houston's I Want to Dance with Somebody. Like, I want to feel the heat with somebody, I want to dance with somebody who loves me. Like, and as a wedding DJ, that song, like, I always play that song. That was one of the last songs I played at the night when everyone was like super fucked up, because that's when like everyone danced and everyone sang their hearts out to that song. Like, there was just so much like literally, and especially too when you would wait to play that song when everyone's like super drunk at the end of the night and everyone's just more loosey goosey. I'd play that and just everyone would just go crazy, man. Just like sing, like I would have. Like, you wouldn't even be able to hear the music. People would be singing so loud over it. And people would actually dance to it because it's a good dancing song. Like, that's Venus and Leo trining Mars and Aries. Like, there's this, like, Venus and Leo's like, I'm excited. I feel good. I feel comfortable. Because that's the one thing, too. Like, with dancing, and especially like this, like this wedding example, it's like, at this point, people were feeling so comfortable being themselves that they weren't afraid to take action. Venus on some hot girl shit. I made a tweet earlier this year. It's been deleted because I deleted all my tweets, and it pisses me off how much shit I got for this. And I wish I didn't delete it just because I want to rub it in people's face. Because I made a tweet in the spring that was like, this is going to be a hot girl summer. And everyone's like, when coronavirus happened, everyone's like, oh, this tweet didn't age well. And I'm like, it's still going to be a hot girl summer, COVID or not. Like, I don't give a fuck. It's still happening. This is the peak of hot girl summer. And I don't even want to say the peak. This is the beginning. This is Venus trining Mars. When Venus goes opposite Mars, that's like, oh man, that's when shit gets wild. But with Venus trining Mars, there is this excitement. There is this like, oh yes, this is what I want. This is what I've been wanting. This is what I want to do and what I've been wanting. And it's trining Mars. It's like, finally I can do that. Like, this is like, if you're at a wedding and you haven't been dancing all night and you're finally maybe a little bit buzzed and I Want to Dance with Somebody comes on, you fucking dance. Like, fucking dance. Like, don't just sit there and be a party pooper. This is that moment of like, this is the song, this is the time to dance. This is the time to get up out, like, off your thing, shake it till you feel better. Venus trining Mars is just like, there's a passion and excitement that kind of gets sparked, and that leads you to do a Mars and Aries thing of going like, oh, like, I really enjoy this, so I'm going to change my actions to be more aligned with that. Oh, this is really fun. I'm really liking this. I'm getting more attention doing this, so I'm going to just change what I'm doing in order to get more of that. Only problem is Mars is squaring Saturn almost immediately after it. But this is where it gets really crazy. Is Mars squares Saturn, and then literally, let me move it a couple hours. As Mars squares Saturn, watch Saturn here. Saturn stations direct. Boom, right there. I feel like the Incredibles, where he's like watching Dash on the TV. He's like, look, he moves right there as I'm like clicking through here. Like, you don't see it? Mars squaring Saturn as Saturn stations direct is just like mind-boggling to me, because it's like Mars is like, hold on, let me pull up this camera angle. That's like Mars is like moving backwards, Saturn's moving backwards too, and then it's just like Saturn stops, right, and then it will start to move forward like this, and it's just like, there's so much that you could, like, I could talk about that for a whole hour if I wanted to. We're not going to do that today. And I'll be talking a lot about this in the weekly horoscope that I do about this, because this is also on a Monday. With Saturn stationing direct in Capricorn, this is its last time stationing direct in Capricorn for the next like 30 years. What did we learn these past 3 years? Where did we, like, this is Saturn in its home sign. What systems did we have to break? What systems didn't work anymore? What systems did we replace? Where did we become more disciplined? How did we become, like, really think about these last 3 years? Like, and I know I'm not alone in saying this, like, Saturn in Sagittarius between 2014 and 2017 was crazy, but Saturn in Capricorn, I mean, I don't know one person whose life hasn't completely changed since this, like, in huge ways. And with Saturn stationing direct, it's like there's finally some light at the end of the tunnel. Like, you know, we can finally see the sunrise starting to come up. It's not sunrise yet, but it's starting to get brighter. And as Saturn stations direct, what do we need to move forward on? And this is Saturn in Capricorn. What do we need to be more serious? What do we need to take more responsibility for? Where do we need to be more accountable? Where do we need to be more disciplined? If you're a night chart, this is going to look like you taking on more responsibility and having more and just having more weight, but more of accepting that responsibility and accepting that weight. If you're a day chart, this is definitely like taking on responsibility and being able to handle it, being able to be serious, be, you know, disciplined with it. This is just, but it's squaring, like with Mars squaring Saturn, there's also like this, you know, this is kind of like when you have a friend who's acting out of line and you're agreeing with someone that they're in disagreement with, because you're like, hey, sorry, dude, you are kind of acting crazy right now, and I am kind of siding with these people on this. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is where you start to go, like, and not to just, and to bring that analogy to a subjective point of view, it's like realizing, like, you know what? Maybe doing something, I shouldn't say maybe doing something. I would say this is realizing that if you want something to happen, if you want this change to happen, you are the only person that can make it happen. Like, you have to take the responsibility for it. You are the one that has to do the work. No one else can do the work. And this Mars square Saturn is like, dude, like, when you realize you've got to do the work, it's not a fun realization. You don't go, oh boy, I get to do all the work myself. Like this is like you're going to be like, this is fucking bullshit. I've got to do all the work myself. But I will say this is when you do all that work yourself, and when you take on the work, when you accept it, when you embrace it, like that shit makes real fucking change. Like that's what's so great about malefics, and this is what's so fucking annoying about, this is why it drives me crazy when everyone's like, oh, fuck Mars, fuck Saturn. Like, dude, this bad shit that people go through, like this is the shit that makes you into a great person. Like not Jupiter, not Venus, Mars and Saturn, and these rough transits are what turn you into the person that you're actually trying to be. Like not Jupiter, you don't just believe who you are. Like it's your circumstances that make you. It's your experiences that make you. It's your virtues that shape you. It's your character that really, gives you some type of structure. And like Mars squaring Saturn here is like, you've got to, like, if you want this change to happen, like you can't just wish it to happen. You can't just imagine it to happen. Jupiter in Capricorn is the same thing. Jupiter in Capricorn's like it's hard to just even be optimistic about shit right now. You can only be realistic. Venus is in Leo at this point where, yeah, sure, we're getting a bunch of attention and it's feeling really good, but we should be using that attention, we should be using that self-validation as fuel to take on the responsibility and to actually make the changes that we've been wanting to make. And this is Mars and Aries, retrograde, squaring Saturn. These are not easy changes. This isn't, oh, you're going to start waking up earlier in the day. This is like you are going to completely take all of your habits and your routines completely differently. You're actually going to be making the systemic changes that you need to make. And I don't even want to say the systemic changes. You've made the systemic changes, but now you actually have to change the operation system, right? Like you can change the rules, but people can still be playing by the old rules. Like this is about moving into a new way of playing by the rules, or getting used to playing in the new rules, right? Learning the new human resources stuff. Like it's like at a job when they change a policy and you got to learn the new policy, you got to learn the new whatever it is. This is just how it is. And September sucks, dude. September, like working, like if you think of holes and that little girl's like, I'm tired of this, grandpa, that's too damn bad. It's too fucking bad. The good news is, well, and this has been one of the things that it's been almost pissing me off, how no one even realizes or accepts this. Like, this isn't like every other year where there's been good or bad stuff. It's subjective. Good and bad has been subjective, right? Some people are going through good times, some people are going through bad times. Almost everyone right now, we are all in the same situation of like, times are tough for basically everyone. Like 90% of the people here. And so there's this shared experience with this, right? There's this acknowledgement. There's this, just to go back to the Mars square Saturn, this is a lot of hard work. Hard work ain't easy, but this is that shit that is going to change you. This is that shit that you just got to accept defeat. You've got to accept that you're wrong. You've got to accept that you don't know what you're doing. You've got to accept that you do not know shit and that you need to change it. It's okay to be a beginner at something again. It's okay to learn something again. It's okay to be wrong at something, and it's okay to fail. But you've got to accept that part on yourself so you can be ready to change or try it again. And this Mars square Saturn, like in my opinion, this looks like a defeat. Like straight up, you just realized you aren't shit and you can't move forward. I want to take that back. I don't want to say you don't realize you aren't shit. You realize the way that you've been doing it's wrong. But this is Venus and Leo trining Mars. Like this is us having the confidence. Like if we do Venus and Leo right? Like, and this is why when I said earlier, like it's Mars and Saturn that create the change. But Venus, like if you're doing this Venus and Leo right, and that's getting the attention, being seen the way that you need to, getting the admiration, that shit's so important for times like this, because Venus trining Mars, you're going to be like, wow, I don't know what I'm doing, but I have the confidence that this doesn't affect me like it usually does. Like if you have really low confidence and then you take a hit like Mars square Saturn, you're going to be like, I give up. I suck. I'm never even going to try again. I'm a failure. Let me just do something stupid, And that's not, no, everyone loses when you do that. Everyone. And not just you, everyone that you influence in your life, like they lose too, because you're not being your best self. Venus trining Mars is like, hey, you might fail at this and you may not know what you're doing, but like you're also the shit and you can basically do anything that you want as long as you make it your idea to do that. Like as long as you're the one that actually believes it. And so when we get to September, Saturn moves direct, right as Venus and Mars trine, right as Mars and square Saturn, there's this huge shift of like realizing where we're confident, realizing what power we have, realizing where we need to take responsibility and how that's going to change our actions and our behaviors. I really cannot emphasize enough how crazy those last days are. And that builds up into what will eventually be Mars going opposite the sun, Mars squaring Pluto again. But as we move through September 29th, nothing much happens here. Mars squaring Saturn again the whole day on September 29th. So, and it's a 2-day process, right? Like that's been the hard thing about this is like, this isn't just like, it's not just one day like, oh, Mars square Saturn, that was a rough day. Like this is going to last like a couple days, like for sure. Way before, you'll be feeling this the whole month of September. It just peaks on the 28th and the 29th. The whole month you'll be feeling this. It just peaks on the 27th or the 28th, 29th. It's not just a one-day thing. This has been going on. And then we move to the 30th. Nothing happens besides the moon going into Aries. Everything's basically direct. Pluto's about to station direct. Then we get to October. And that's basically September. I can't believe I did this in 1 hour and 15 minutes. Man, everyone who watches this on YouTube is going to be so proud of me. So, usually what I do at this point is I like to take some, like, throw me your charts and I'll pull up your charts on here. Just know that if I pull up your chart, I'm going to say whatever I want about your chart and everyone's going to see it, and it's also going to be posted on YouTube. So try not to get super sensitive about anything. Give me your information. I'll pull up your chart. Try to just do, what I want to do is I want to do like one person with a Capricorn rising, one person with a Gemini rising. So if you see me pull up someone else's chart and they have, if I don't want to pull up 4 Sag rising charts, right? And the reason I want to do this is I want to help people who are watching this on YouTube go like, okay, well, how is this going to affect me? And of course, let me move all the information over here. I want to be able to, I want to tell people what Leo's going to go through, what Taurus is going to go through, what Libra's going to go through. So give me a while for this. Just do all of your stuff, and then I might ask you to do it again. So Yucca Soap, you actually donated, so we're going to do you first. By the way, too, if you guys want to donate and support me doing this, it would be super, super appreciated. I have a donation button somewhere on my Twitch. I don't really know. It's on my profile. I don't know how you would get there though. Yucca Soap, what's your info? You put Capricorn rising September 19th, 98. But what time? Karachi, Pakistan. Did I say it? Karachi? Is that how I say it? September 19th, 1998. I don't know what time. Yucca Soap. Wow, you were born at 2:22 p.m. Nice. Hold up. I'm struggling spelling Karachi. Pakistan. You were born at 2:22 p.m., so you're a Capricorn rising. Let's pull it up. Calculate. Set as chart 1. Yeah, okay. So for you, because you're a Cap rising, this looks like, oh, Jesus Christ, Mars is stationing on your IC. You're probably moving, to be honest with you. Wow, look at all that stuff in Virgo in your 9th house. You're probably so smart, or at least you know a lot of shit. You are probably moving, and it's probably going to be, for the Capricorn risings, just like, y'all just can't stop changing. It's just like you guys, thank you for the donation. I really appreciate that. You Capricorn risings just can't stop changing, won't stop changing. And this is just the final boss of change. This is the final boss of your guys' life. The good news for Capricorn, especially Capricorn rising, this is the last of it for a while. Like, you do not really get hit hard with anything for a long time. You don't have to go through, not say you won't have any hard days ahead, but you're really not, after this is really it. So I'm going to assume, Yucca Soap, you are moving. You're getting out of Dodge. You're probably moving, problematically. That's really the one thing I would look at. And there's going to be some stuff that it really depends on your career. And you're probably going to have some, like, all that Mercury and Libra stuff, square and everything. There's going to be a lot of confusion and miscommunication in your career that leads you to probably, like, having some conflicts at home or moving. Next person. Let's see. Hold on. Let's do. We're going to do Candidly Vanessa. I think I spelled that right. July 23rd. Hey, that Zero Leo Sun Gang. What's fucking cracking? 5:43 a.m. or p.m.? Oh, and you're a Sag Rising too? Word. Yeah, you are a Sag Rising. Ash. Fucking what? Ash Tabula? Tabula? What the fuck that is? Ohio. Alright, so Sag Rising gang. So this is what's interesting about the Sag Risings is a lot of us will have our IC in Aries too. So this can also represent things like moving. This could represent well, the thing is too with the IC in the 5th house, it gets a little bit complicated. So the Mars retrograde is it can reflect things like children stuff. If you have stuff like with kids, 5th house being about fun, art, music, creativity, love, romance. There's a big reshift in this area. There's a big, going backwards on stuff, replanning stuff. But with it also being your IC ruler, there is some potential for moving. There is some potential of reorganizing the living space. But a lot of this has to deal with money because all of this stuff is in your 2nd house. And it's like, do you have the money to do all of the fun stuff that you want to do? Do you have the income? Do you have the things that make it necessary to do the fun things you want to do? And with your chart, you've got all of this. You're going to have Mercury on top of your Jupiter moon here. Wow, we have like the same Venus placement too. How crazy. We're Sag Rising, Libra Moon. Thank you for the donation. Sag Rising, Libra Moon, Leo Sun. We're literally Venus and Gemini. We're literally the same fucking person. Yeah, I would just say you're gonna try to be doing creative, fun stuff, but it might be difficult. Maybe doing it with your work and also just the money aspect around it, or just the possession part of it. Let's do Let's do wood block. I like that name. Select new chart. Wood block. You were born on 12/23 1997 at 14:39 fucking military time in West Philadelphia. Born and raised Philadelphia. As you guys can see, I'm a great speller. Okay. Wow. Someone's unique. Okay. So you're a Gemini rising. Oh my gosh, we have the moon. We have our moon at like the same degree. Oh my gosh, I have so much synastry with you guys today. This is so fun. What's it called? Oh, did you say Cash App? I do have a Cash App. I think it's White Light Cam, maybe Cam White Astro. I think it's Cam White Astro. Let me double check. I never use fucking Cash App. I don't even know how to use it. What is my thing? It's like money sign White Light Cam. So White Light Cam, one word, my old name. Anyway, Gemini rising. So, and I've been seeing this with a lot of my Gemini rising friends. You guys are getting in a lot of arguments with your friends. You guys are separating from a lot of friends. Also, especially for someone like you, Woodblock, who has all of this shit in Aquarius. Maybe it's time to get some friends. Maybe it's time to get some friends that are in the spiritual community, that are aware like you, that share the same belief system. This is going to be opposite your moon, which is your second house ruler. So maybe you're spending too much money on your friends. Saturn is also in your 8th house. Don't share resources with people. Don't borrow money from your friends. Don't let your friends borrow money from you either, because it's just not going to end up working out the way that you want it to. That's the way I'd look at Gemini risings. Just be wary about who you're hanging out with. Change who you are hanging out with. Get more friends that are like-minded, especially because you have Mars Aquarius in the 9th house. Don't spend your money on things that don't matter, and don't borrow or share your money unless if you really don't have to, because it might not turn out that good. Okay, you were Gemini rising, so we'll do that. Venus Viv, we'll do Venus Viv to see. Also, let me know if so we did Gemini rising, Sag rising, Cap rising, Venus Viv. What are you? September 4th, 1992. 8:50 a.m. I feel like I've seen your chart before. That sounds familiar. San Jose? San Jose, California? Wow, I love your chart. Your chart's great. Wow. Okay, so you're probably going to be getting in some type of fight or a conflict with some type of relationship in your life. It doesn't look awful, but this also could just be like, you're probably dealing with a fight or a conflict within a relationship, but you also might just be going about the relationship in a different way. Saturn and Pluto are fucking up your 4th house, so your family, your home life, that's still under construction. That's still changing, and a specific individual that you get in a conflict or fight with can potentially make your living situation more difficult, or make you have to like move. I would say like the problems with your 4th house and the family life and just your living situation right now might not necessarily come from the actual house itself, but might more so come from an individual that you were with. And with everything that's like in Virgo in your 12th house, there's going to be a lot of realization, a lot of self-awareness, a lot of self-understanding. I mean, shit, it's your Mercury return. Wow, it's like your Mercury return like today, and Mercury rules your 9th house of like spirituality. And then Mercury will go into your 1st house, where you'll probably be doing a little bit of self-sabotage, but Mercury's going to be on top of your Venus on your ascendant ruler. Like, you're going to feel really good. Like, you're going to just be very clear. There's just going to be a lot more clarity on like what you need to do in order to change the relationships in your living situation. All right, moving forward. Unicorn Fires, what's your rising sign? I feel like I did you last month. There's a lot more of you guys here this month. August 13th. What's your rising sign? Quick. What's your rising sign? 1993. Folsom. Oh, whoops. Folsom, California. What time were you born at? 3:53 p.m. 3:53 p.m. All right. Calculate. Oh, no. Chat 1. Oh, fuck. I fucked up. Sag rising. Oh, okay. You already did. All right. Then we won't do you. Aries rising. Otters. I don't know how the fuck to say that. I'm going to put this over here so you know who I'm talking about. So, OTTRZ. Otters? Wow. It took me a minute to figure that one out. March 3rd or January 3rd, 1993 at 11:54 a.m. in Fuck, you didn't spell Albuquerque for me. Why didn't you do Albuquerque, New Mexico. I didn't spell Albuquerque right. I need someone to spell Albuquerque for me right now. This is a fucking emergency. I have no idea how to spell Hold on. Albuquerque. Your you a lot. Hold on. Albuquerque. Oh, Albuquerque. No? God, I'm a fucking moron. I'm sorry, guys. You guys are just watching me struggle. Hold on. I'm just going to put this right here so I can spell this right. Okay. Alba. Oh, Alba. Like Jessica Alba. Kirky. God, that is a fucked up word. Fuck Albuquerque just for that. Oh, wait. I don't want to save that. Okay. Aries Rising. So, thank you for the donation, Jupiter. That's a funny name. So Aries Rising. Well, your chart's different because it's just getting fucking annihilated by everything. So this is a little bit different. Mars is retrograding in your first, and you're a day chart, so you're probably pissed as shit. You're probably, well, the thing is, Mars in Aries is like, things are good until they're not. Like, it was funny, I was just telling a friend this the other day, like I was waiting in line at the bank at this ATM, and there was a line that was like super long, and I'm sitting here going like, why the fuck is there a line? And like, people were taking forever at this ATM, and I'm getting all frustrated about it. And then I'd go to the ATM, and the calibration for the touchscreen was all off, so it was like pushing a bunch of random stuff. So then I realized, oh, this is what was taking people so long. And it was just like, I kept pushing the wrong button, and it just like, I think the whole day I wasn't mad about anything, but that just like, oh man, I almost like lost it in public, just started screaming at shit. Like, I don't know what my problem was there, but like, that's Mars in Aries for you, right? Shit's good until it's not, and then it's bad. And Mars in your first house going retrograde, this is a big shift in you. Like, this also could be like, you know, this would be a great time to play it safe and to maybe not, you know, if you're like, hey, I've never been skydiving before, like, don't go skydiving. Don't, you know, put yourself in a place where you could potentially get in an accident. You've also got Mars retrograde as your ascendant ruler in Cancer. So there's a lot of, like, you know, you're going to be dealing a lot with your anger. You're going to be dealing a lot with, like, where you put your energy. You're going to be dealing a lot with yourself, and you're going to be trying to repeal yourself more back because you've got all this stuff in Capricorn. Like, you have a certain image that you need to maintain and that you need to be a little bit more serious. And this Mars retrograde might be a time where it's like maybe being less expressive, and not to say like you should be less expressive, like, you know, express yourself, but maybe not, you know, so like energetically express yourself. Maybe be a little bit more conservative with that. But I do see a potential relationship thing coming in because Mars is going to be like, I mean, you also have Jupiter on the descendant, so it's not like, I don't think a relationship thing would be like a big surprise for you. But with that Mercury stuff and this Virgo stuff, you're just going to be really busy with work. But you might just be shifting a lot more about like what you look like, how you act. You're probably just going to be feeling drained and also just like angry. Definitely angry and frustrated. I need to scroll back up. Who else? Okay, we're gonna do Mystic Queen Empire. So that was an Aries rising. Do I have any Taurus risings in the crowd? Taurus Rising is always the least watched horoscope I ever put out, so I actually doubt any of you guys are Taurus Risings, but let's do Mystique Queen Empire, October 22nd, 1993. I'm at 7:53 a.m. Brooke Shuffles, I'll get you next then. Casper, Wyoming. I'm really bad at watching the comments and doing this at the same time. Wrong button. Scorpio rising. Whoa. Oh my gosh. You have a similar chart to my sister, so I'm very familiar with this week of the astrology. Leo rising. Jupiter. Okay, I'll do you. Anyway. Scorpio rising, this is for real, well, especially for you, Mystic Empire Queen, or Mystic Queen Empire. Be careful with health stuff. Mars is your 6th house ruler, your health ruler, and it's opposite your Jupiter and your Sun. This could be stuff coming out of the, you know, background that you weren't really sure about, you weren't really expecting. You know, let me put this like right up here. You know, health issues can kind of just come out of nowhere. So be careful. Like, try not to overwork yourself. You're already feeling drained. Accept the fact that you are tired, Scorpio. Look at all this fucking shit in Scorpio on my ascendant. Like, you are tired. Accept that you are tired and go to bed and maybe rest a little bit. And with this squaring stuff in your third house, like, Mars, like this Mars retrograde in your sixth house, it's like you want to be busy so bad, but you still don't even know what you need to be busy with. So with all of the stuff in your third house, Scorpio rising, like, it's what you are doing is just as important of how often you are doing it. Like, what is the content of are you doing, and does that shit work? Like, does that work for you? Is that sustainable? Does that get is it efficient? You know, and especially for this too, with everything that's going to be in Virgo and Libra, there's also a lot of this month for you too, Scorpio risings, there's a lot of reflection and a lot of being by yourself, isolating yourself, retreating. And so this would be a good time to really just reflect on, like, what is the content of what you actually do, and is it worth it? Like, you might still be trying to hold on to a lot of old ways of operating, and it ain't happening. It's moving on after this. So Jupiter was a Leo rising, so we'll do that, and then hold up, there's a lot of you. Oh no, we'll do Brookie shuffles first, and then we'll do Leo rising. Brookie shuffles. Okay, I spelled that wrong, but you're just gonna have to deal with it. We know who we're talking about here. 4/12/80. Whoops, not 802. 1980. Wow, we have a old timer here. LOL JK. Mansfield, Ohio, 743. You know, you're like I think I know like 10 people that were born in Mansfield, Ohio. Like, that is such a common one I see all the time. Taurus rising, yeah, Mars on the node. Gosh. Oh gosh. So for the Taurus risings out there that are watching this, your biggest problem is you're going to be pissed and you're not really going to be sure why. Brooke, we talked about this didn't we do a reading? Like, we talked about this in your reading. You're going to be angry. You don't know why. And there's a lot of frustration. Like, yeah, we talked about this, Brooke. This was funny when we talked about this. Like, Mars in your 12th retrograde is just like, there's anger and you don't know where it's coming from or why it's there, but it's there for you to deal with anyway. And as it's squaring everything in Capricorn in your 9th house, this is like angrily shaking your fist at God of like, why is it like this? Why is it happening? This doesn't make sense. I don't believe in this. Like, there's a lot of denial right now with Taurus risings. Like it's not happening, and it's just like, but it is. And I mean, like, you also have like Mars on your North Node in Leo. Like, there's, oh, Brooke, just accept things already. And with everything going on in Virgo, and then in your 5th house, and then going to your 6th house, you Taurus risings, there's a big shift going from focusing on what you want and that specificity of, you know, Virgo in the 5th house of like, oh, I want this specific thing, and I like things in this specific way with this specific taste and this specific flavor. Going into Libra, that's where it's going from less of what you want and more of like, all right, where do you need to be more consistent with your actions? Where do you just need to focus on your day-to-day stuff? And I mean, for you, Brooke, too, you're going to have Venus going through your 4th house, so there's just a lot of connection and a lot of like power and a lot of just like more fun going on in your family, your home life, and your private life. So this is, again, like, also Mars is in your 12th, Venus is in your 4th. There's going to be, and also Saturn, everything's in your 9th. These are all private houses. This is all private areas of your life. So this isn't really about anything public. This is more about internal work. Jupiter or Jupiter. I want to make an inappropriate joke about that, but I won't. Jupiter, where the fuck is your shit at? Sorry, I don't remember. Where's your there it is. Okay, I had to find your info. So this is for the Leo risings out there. So September 26th. Ooh, God, your birthday's gonna be rough. Whoops, hold on. Jupiter. September 26th, 2001. Gosh, you were born right after 9/11. I just think that's so crazy. Scranton, Pennsylvania. Okay. Leo rising. Oh yeah. Yeah, this was a rough week in the astrology. I don't know if you knew anything about what was going on when you were born, but there was a lot of not good stuff going on when you were born. One of the things with Leo rising that I've been like, Mars is for one, everything in Capricorn is in your 6th house. So there's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of responsibility that you're taking in your workplace, that you're taking on with your routine. And with Mars retrograding in your 9th, it's like traveling or any spiritual work or any of that 9th house stuff. And also this is on your midheaven. Like, there's could be something that you're trying to work for in your career. There could be trying to something that you're working for with your education, or that you're energized to take more action on towards your spiritual path. But your day-to-day activities and your employment and everything is just holding you back. Like, you're like, oh, I want to go to college or take this class, or want to, wait, did I get it wrong? 1:57 a.m. Scranton, Pennsylvania? Yeah, I got that right. Where you want to be taking... hold up. I need to move this box. There we go. Where you might be wanting to take more action or just spend more time with your spiritual beliefs, for you too, because your midheaven's here, with your career. Like, there's something that you're working towards that you're not going to be able to do because you've got so much going on in your routine and your work, and that's just like, you're just going to have to move. Like, you're going to have to, your 9th house stuff is just going to have to wait. But there's a lot of stuff going on in Virgo and Libra, so there is a lot of potential for like more money coming in, being more stable with your money, making the money that you need to, and with the 3rd house too, this is just being able to communicate efficiently. I mean, look at all of this. Look at your chart. Look at this. With all this Libra stuff, it's so easy for you to be like, it's kind of here, it's kind of there. Mercury and Libra coming back, you're just going to be able to have easier flow with your expression and your communication, right? Hold on, let me check some. So we did Aries, Taurus, Gemini. We did Leo. We did Libra. We did Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn. I need an Aquarius, I need a Pisces, and I need a Cancer. An Aquarius, a Pisces, and a Cancer all walk into a bar. Hold on, Mary Still. Hold up. Don't skip my girl Mary Still. Who? Hold on. There's been a lot of comments. You're going to have to give me a second to roll through everyone. Who is Scorpion Luna? Scorpio Luna, your stuff is over there somewhere. Let me get to it. Hold on. I don't see. Okay, I'm gonna do Scorpion Luna first because I can't find. I'm struggling. Someone send me. Hold on. Scorpio Luna, and then whoever was the Pisces rising, tell me, and then put your info again because scrolling through it is just getting really difficult now. Also, Cancer rising. I need a Cancer rising, and I need a Aquarius rising. 8:15 a.m. 8:15 p.m. in LA. Oh, god damn it. Los Angeles. Pisces rising. Oh, gosh. Pisces rising. Where is everything in your chart? Oh, yeah, that's right. You are going to be spending, and you've got Mars and Jupiter and Libra. You're going to be spending way more money than you probably are planning to. So save that money. Save that money. Don't spend your money. Don't spend your money. Yeah, and also, you just have a lot of commitments and responsibilities with your friends, with your community, with people that you associate with. You're also about to start your Saturn return. This might just be like, you know, yeah, with Mars retrograding in your Mars retrograding in your second, you're going to be spending more money. Money is going to, you're just going to be spending money down the drain. There's a lot of commitments with friendships that you have right now with your community that could be holding you back from, that could also be keeping you from making more money. Like this community or these friendships that you have could also be the reason why you are spending so much money. And when you have Venus and Leo in the 6th, you're getting a lot more attention in your workplace. And there's also, thank you for the donation. And with everything going on in your 7th house in Virgo and then your 8th house in Libra, there's this bigger focus on the relationships in your life, who you're connecting with, and how you share those resources with them. This also, just for you specifically, Scorpio Luna, looks a lot to do with like a romantic relationship too, and even blending your resources with them. I'd be careful with that. Try not to blend your resources too much with people. Like, you don't want to rely on someone else's, you don't want to rely on someone else to get something that you need to get done, right? And for Pisces risings, this just looks like you're going to be spending some money if you're hanging out with your friends too much, if you're too committed to a community. But this could also just be selling a lot of your shit. Mars in your 2nd house is like, get rid of all the shit I got. Fuck this stuff. I don't even want it anymore. That could be a big thing. But as Mercury, specifically for you, as Mercury goes into your 8th house, there could be this, you might have to balance that out a little bit with sharing resources with other people. Like, so just be, do what you need to do. Get rid of the shit that you want to get rid of. Spend the money you need to, but don't just like fully commit. Don't go pedal to the metal that fast. So that was the Pisces rising. Who's the Cancer rising up in here? Unicorn Fires. Are you a Cancer rising? Or are you I have time for an Aquarius and a Cancer rising. So I know I'm laughing at Hookerbot too. Hookerbot 3000 is the funniest name I've heard. No one here's an Aquarius or could someone give me a goddamn Aquarius rising or a Cancer rising? That's all I'm looking for. There's the only 2 signs I got to do left. Hookerbot 3000. That is my favorite one. Okay, anyone? I'm going to ask one more time. Is anyone a fucking goddamn... I don't need a Virgo rising. I don't know. Again, I talked about this in my YouTube and I tweeted about this. What is with everyone following me being Virgo risings? And the fact that also like every single one of you were like, I'm a Virgo rising. I did Virgo rising. I need a Cancer rising. Virgo rising. I'm a Virgo rising. Virgo rising. None of you guys are Cancer or Capricorn? Or I mean, not Capricorn. Virgo hasn't been done yet? Did I not do Virgo rising? Okay, I thought I did Virgo rising. Maybe I just lied. Okay, I lied. Let me do Virgo rising. But then I also need Capricorn. I'll do Unicorn Fires. Unicorn Fires. And also, if you're a Cancer or an Aquarius rising, please tell me. January 21st, 1991. Oh, Jesus. God, I already know what this chart's going to look like. January of 1991 was absolutely fucked. It's like my barber's birthday. What? Leonarwood? Leo Narwood. M-O. Leo Narwood does not exist. Leo Narwood. Unicorn Fires. Leo Narwood doesn't work. So Mary Loves Owls. You keep tagging Mary Still, and I haven't seen Mary Still. I can't find it anywhere in the comments. But for real though, oh, Crimson Coven. Okay, you're in Aquarius rising. I'll get to you in a second. Leo Narwood. Whoops. Leonard Wood. Okay, that sounds better. I was like, Leo Narwood is the... Are you sure? Leonard Wood. So that's not a real place. You're lying to me now. We're all waiting on you, Unicorn Fires. Leo, Nard, Wood. All right. Oh, we're going to do Mary Still. Unicorn Fires, I don't know what the fuck the place is. Mary Still. There we go. Found it. Thank you for putting it there. I'm going to do yours instead because Leonard Wood apparently is not a place. You messed up. You messed up, Unicorn Fires. I'm sorry. Okay. Hold on. April 3rd, 1989. April 3rd, 1989. No, shut up. At 6:15 p.m. and you were born in. Dude, shut the fuck up. Okay, there we go. God damn. Semipalatinsk, Kazakhstan. Hold on. Did I spell it right? Kazakhstan. Fuck. I don't think I spelled Kazakh right. Did I spell all this right? Kazakhstan. Okay. Dude, what is up with the wrong fucking information today? Is Mercury not in Virgo? There we go. Holy shit. That took forever to get a chart up. Okay. I'm sorry, Unicorn Fires. Okay, anyway. Fucking Kazakhstan. Hell yeah. Hold on. Virgo rising. Whoa. Ooh. Look at that. Look at that little lineup right there. So the Virgo risings, for you guys listening who are Virgo risings, the problem with the Virgo risings this works. Is this not the right chart? This is the right chart. Why are you yelling at me? This totally worked. Anyway, so the thing is with Virgo risings, you're having Mars retrograde in your 8th house, so try not to get into debt and try not to. I just had a Virgo rising client. I was telling them this, like, don't borrow people's stuff and don't let people borrow your stuff, because this is where, like, I was talking a little bit about this with the Pisces rising, but this is like Virgo rising is like, if it's going to be one of those things where, like, you're going to be at, like, someone's house and they're going to be like, here's this, thing for you to try out. Like, you should, like, look at my fine china. Do you want to see my fine china? And then you're like, sure. And then you pick it up and it breaks. Like, Mars retrograding your 8th house you are going to be prone to accidents. You are going to you're going to be more prone to accidents, more prone to breaking other people's stuff, other people breaking your stuff. I do have a Venmo. If you want to Venmo me, it's White Light Cam. No, Cam White Astro. Fuck, I don't even know anymore. There's so many damn. Oh, I don't even have the Venmo app. It should be Cam White Astro. It's either Cam White Astro or White Light Cam, but I'm pretty sure it's Cam White Astro. Anyway, the Mars retrograde in your 8th house. Don't borrow money. Don't share money. Yeah, the comments are being pretty late. And if you guys do want to PayPal me, it's paypal.me/Cam White Astro. paypal.me/Cam White Astro. Thank you guys for the donations, by the way. Like, it makes me feel really good and it helps me out a lot. You guys are buying me dinner, which is really nice. But anyway, Virgo, go back to the Virgo risings. This is, specifically for you, what's crazy about this is Mars is stationing direct on your Sun, Venus, Mercury. So there's a lot of forward movement when it comes to 8th house stuff and 3rd house stuff once Mars stations direct. And this seems more of like maybe some funding coming in out of somewhere, or someone helping you, someone else's stuff helping you, maybe even a sibling helping you out in this case, since Mars works your 3rd house. And this also might be a sibling going more into debt, or maybe you have some more problems with siblings. This just more of looks like also too the 5th and the 8th house, like Saturn. This is also your Saturn return. Like, you're learning a lot about what you want and learning a lot about what you don't want anymore. And Mars retrograding in your 8th house is just a really scary time. It's kind of like you're not really sure. It's kind of like at any moment someone could pop in your door and rob you, but you're not really sure if someone's even outside your door or not. Like that's kind of the 8th house, and with it being an inversion. So there's this scary, reality that kind of hits, especially with the Virgo risings. And you guys are trying to calculate everything. Like, don't overthink about it. Don't stress it. This is just going to be a really big, like, Venus is going to be in Leo in your 12th. So, like, do some retreat stuff. Go by yourself. Love yourself by yourself. Venus and Leo in the 12th house. Like, also, don't be afraid to be seen is going to be a big thing. Stop, like, put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to be seen. No, I'm not booked on readings. You can check out my website at camwhiteastro.com, and I should have availability because I haven't been booked, I don't think. But anyway, yeah. So, just with Virgo risings, it's just the big thing is like this is definitely a change that you don't see coming. The 8th house right here is an aversion to the ascendant, so it's like you're not going to even know what's going on until it's over. Right? Like you're not going to be able to see. It's kind of like when you're in the middle of stuff, it's hard to acknowledge it versus once you're done with it, once you've gone through the change, that's when you realize it. And that's what this is really about this time. And this Mars retrograde is just change that, when you're in a different place and you're acting differently, like you don't really notice it. Or that's not that. I don't think that's what I wanted to say. That didn't come out right. Yeah, you're just going to be changing and it's going to be really uncomfortable. And for Virgo risings, like the biggest thing is don't break other people's stuff, don't borrow other people's stuff, don't get into debt if you don't have to, like if you really don't have to. But the other thing is if you're trying to share resources, there may not be any resources for you to share. So with everything going on in your 5th house, like just don't expect people to really be there for you at the moment. And I know that sounds kind of dark. This is more of like lone wolf type stuff. Yeah, that's the way that I would really look at it. And then we had an Aquarius rising. What do I have a Cancer, right? Do I have one single Cancer rising out there? Virgo rising. We did Virgo rising. Oh, that's your friend's chart? I don't feel comfortable pulling up a friend's chart. I only feel comfortable with pulling up people's charts that are here. So this is going to be our last call for Aquarius and Cancer rising. If y'all are not here, we're going to have to move on. But yeah, with that being said, September's a crazy month, guys. September is crazy. This is basically like, well, the thing is after these next 3 months, like after these next 3 months, we're going to be completely different people. But September, I mean, like, where we're at right now, we're all kind of chilling. Everything's kind of chill at the moment for the most part. I think August so far has been the most chillest month of 2020. Because, I mean, every month of 2020 has been something crazy. Nothing really, I mean, yeah, sure, we had a fire tornado, and there's 2 hurricanes going on, and, highest temperature ever recorded on planet Earth. Things are mostly pretty chill for the most part. Wow, that sounds like Mars is definitely in your 11th house. Oh, wait, no, you're the Virgo rising. But you also have your moon in the... Well, hold up. Too many comments, too fast. 2020 is the best year ever, right? Yeah, so one last call for any Cancer risings or Aquarius risings. It's so funny. The people that are on YouTube right now are probably watching this and being like, wow, I fucking wish I was here because I'm a Cancer rising and Aquarius rising. What part of the hero's journey is the Mars retrograde? So the Mars synod, so the relationship between the Mars and the Sun is the hero's journey. The Mars retrograde is the climax cycle. So the climax, basically the climax cycle. The Mars trine is like the scene where they're all getting their guns loaded and everyone's like, like I think of like Ocean's 11, like where they're like getting the guns loaded and they're wearing the suits and there's the big cool montage. Like that's the Mars trine the Sun. and then Mars stations retrograde, and then it's like that's when the climax starts. The Mars opposition to the sun is like literally like when the peak of the movie is, like the actual climax, and then Mars trining the sun at its station direct is like in Ocean's 11. Like I fucking love Ocean's 11. But Ocean's 11, the scene where they just steal the money and they just walk out of the casino with, I mean, spoiler alert, the movie that's like 30 years old. But when they steal all of the money and they just walk out, like that's Mars trining the sun at the station direct. So like in November, this is like the climax is over, you walk out with it and it's all good. But then there's the closing Mars square, which is like the one last problem before things really end. So yeah, that's part of the hero's journey. But since I don't have a Cancer or a Capricorn or a Cancer and Aquarius rising in here, I will say thank you guys for being here. I'm gonna pull one last tarot card actually to close this off on a closing note. This is super fun. I love going live and doing this. This is like super fun, and I want to keep doing this more. So make sure you guys are here next month. If you guys want to donate to me, I super appreciate it. Book a reading with me, honestly, that would be even better, because I would love to tell you what the fuck you got in store for the next few months and actually get down into the details. But yeah, so we're gonna leave on this note. Let me just pull this up real quick. Let me cut this deck. All right, so the card that we have, King of Cups reversed. What is the King of Cups reversed? I'm not a tarot card reader. Like, I don't know all the definitions well enough. I know the King of Cups straight up is like you're confident in your emotions, you are in control of your emotions, but maybe reversed, this is like maybe you don't have all the authority over your emotions that you need to. King of Cups reversed. I'm actually gonna if anyone wants to comment what they think the King of Cups reversed means, I would like to know. I would say that this is needing to find control, needing to find authority over your emotions. This is definitely maybe someone overpowering your emotions. This is definitely a time to get a grip on stuff, I think, in my personal opinion, unless anyone else wants to say anything before we go. But also apparently there's a comment lag, so I'll take a quick second with it. My Aries Rising wants to yell at everybody. Yeah. What happened to my favorite Twitch person? Sexbot 3000? What was it? I gotta go back to that. Hookerbot 3000. Not in control of emotions. Yeah. That's I would definitely look at it like that. There's not like you're maybe feeling powerless over your emotions. Draining emotions. That's a good way to look at it. Yeah. It's funny, all of the tarot cards for this, I was like the Five of Cups, that wasn't good, and then the other one was okay, was not okay, and then King of Cups reversed, like a lot. Even the cards are like, this isn't really looking that fun. This isn't really easy. So I'm gonna leave you guys off with that. It's not an easy month, but we can get through this. So thank you guys so much for being here on the YouTube. Like this. Thank you for commenting, sharing, subscribing. Thank you guys for being here and joining in with me this month. I'm trying to get better at making the announcement of the day that I'm going to do this. I've been just kind of doing it very last minute, like off the cuff, which I'm trying to actually like have a date to plan. So with that being said, thank you guys again so much for being here, and I'll be seeing you next month.